In this video, I'm going to try and become a funded trader. A couple of months ago, I started a challenge where I worked my way from nothing to $10,000 relying on the internet, and after part one, I was left with $305. I thought it'd be best to use a little bit of that money to gain access to someone else's money, and that's where being a funded trader comes in. Now, I've always struggled trading futures, as I've documented on this channel. 2 years ago, when I tried trading with $1,000, now my account is below $50, which is the minimum you need to trade a micro contract. So this challenge has been a spectacular failure. And last year when I tried again. But I haven't given up. I've been spending a lot of time trading futures, working on different strategies, becoming more disciplined and patient. So I thought it might be interesting to try and become a funded trader. Basically, there are these companies, you could call them prop firms maybe, that will let you trade with their money once you prove that you are a profitable trader. I decided to sign up with Top Step for two main reasons. One, I can trade off of the platform Tradovate, which is what I'm used to trading on. And two, they had a sale. I ended up signing up for their $50,000 account, which was 30% off and cost me $115.50, leaving me with $189.50 for my challenge. The evaluation process is two steps, both with their own requirements and restrictions. In step one, you basically need to make $3,000 profit. You have to trade for at least 5 trading days. You can't lose more than $1,000 per day, and you can only trade 5 contracts at a time. Step 2 turns up the heat, which I'll talk about more if I make it that far. But if I pass both steps of the evaluation process, they'll give me a $50,000 account to trade with, and we'll split the profits 90-10. Now, I've heard both criticism and praise for these funding programs. Some people think they are a no-brainer way to trade, and others think that these companies don't really want you to actually be profitable and would prefer you just keep failing the evaluations and paying to reset and try again. So I'm not sure what to think exactly. It seems like it's worth a shot considering I've lost about $4,000 of my own money trading futures and videos on this channel. My risk here is capped by the cost of the evaluation, so I have a lot less to lose this time. Right now, it's Monday, December 12th. This week is a pretty news-heavy week, which could make for some interesting trading, so my plan is to start trading tomorrow. All right, so I just took the first trade of the combine. I did 2 micro contracts instead of the minis. They're just 1/10 the size. And I sold the top of a downward sloping trend line so I could keep my risk really tight and have favorable rewards. So it didn't work out and I got stopped out for a loss of $30, so not a big deal. On to the next. All right, so I don't really like trading the micros. I decided to move on to the minis. I got stopped out with 2 contracts of minis on my first trade. I re-entered a few minutes later and was able to get a nice winning trade there, which puts me up on the day $220, but after commissions, $202.80 is my profit on the day so far. I might call it a day here though. It's getting to the point where I don't really want to trade anymore, and I'm fairly happy with the one profitable trade I did have. As I end day one, I thought I'd mention how much starting this combine and documenting it for a video has affected my mindset. I really hesitated to enter trades today because one, after publishing many videos of my failures, I do want to show some improvement in my trading, and two, having too much drawdown in a trade or miscalculating a stop loss could cause me to fail the evaluation. For instance, my last trade today, I should have just left it alone and not exited prematurely, but I was feeling anxious since I had 2 red trades previously and knew that if that trade didn't work out, it put me in a rough spot to start things off. So I'm hoping that it's just day one jitters that I can shake off and do a better job tomorrow of having confidence in my setups and getting better entries. Well, I just entered my first trade on day 2, and then my internet went out. So I have my my stop loss and take profit in there, but hopefully it works out, but I can't really monitor it right now. Internet's back on. The trade's working out pretty well. I'm up about $225 right now, and we're right around the highs of the day. So I'm gonna see, might cut the trade short if we fail to break the highs. Otherwise, I'll let it ride a little longer. There it goes. Just broke new highs on the day, but it got rejected like instantly. Didn't like how quickly it was slapped back down after breaking highs, so I'm up $158.80 after commissions and fees. Not bad for the first trade of the day. So because I had a pretty good entry and a good risk to reward, this is an example of where I should have let the trade play out as I originally intended, because we finally did break new highs and hold above it. And it would have been a really nice trade had I stayed in. But again, back to that like anxiety I was feeling yesterday about trading on the combine, it's still affecting me today. So I'm hoping to shake that off and stick to my plan. All right, so here it is, day 3. Since we broke through some consolidation zones on my chart, I am looking at the short side, and I just entered my first trade. I went short with 2 ES contracts. Took a little over 13 points, so right now I'm up after fees and commissions, $6.67 and 60 cents. So that was my best trade so far. Once the trade started going my way, I did move my stop losses to around break even, just because the open can be kind of volatile and we're still within the first 15 minutes. So I just want to make sure that it didn't go red on me, and I'm pretty happy with how it worked out. So I didn't take any more trades for the day. Going into it, I wanted to play the downside, targeting 39.19 demand down here. When I'm scalping, my default take profit is 8 points. And with my runner, I should have really kept my stop loss probably around break even and really tried to get that bigger trade in, targeting that demand zone, because we ended up hitting it perfectly. And it's easy to say looking back in hindsight, but one thing I do want to get better at is letting my runners just run a little bit longer instead of just worrying too much about the P&L. But if we take a look at it over on Top Step, my best day was today, $667.60. I'm currently at $1,029.20 out of the $3,000 I need to pass step 1. But yeah, making good progress so far. Hope to continue that momentum tomorrow and into the next week. All right, so it's the next day. Just finished my first trade. Wasn't really happy with the entry. I hesitated to get in short, watched it move down a lot. By the time I got in, my stop loss was like on 2 contracts. It would have been 14 points if it got hit. And so once the trade started moving in my direction, I moved my stop loss a little past break even, because we also had the 50 daily moving average on the ES that it kept bouncing off of, and I didn't want it to bounce up and knock me out for 14 points. So instead, I got wicked out for a $50 profit, and now it's continuing to go down. And I just want to contrast that with my demo account, which same 2 contracts on the ES. I didn't hesitate to get in because there's nothing on the line. I'm currently up $3,800 on the 2 contracts. I'm still in short. So that just kind of shows you the difference between no stakes and stakes. Kind of affects you psychologically. All right, I just entered trade number 2, a few minutes ago now. It was at the top of the range at 38.76, so I had pretty much a perfect entry. I sold short. And now I'm just kind of holding, waiting for it to keep breaking lower. We just made new lows on the day. I don't really have a next target in mind other than 38.05. Yeah, I'm just going to keep a close eye on price action. I'm watching the VIX just to make sure that we actually have more downside ahead. Otherwise, I'll go ahead and take profit. All right, so I just exited my best trade so far of the combine. On the day, I am up $1,072.70 after fees and commissions, which puts me at $52,101. And I need to make about another 900 or so to pass the combine. So that's 4 green days in a row to end the week. It was really decent week of trading. I was happy that in my last trade here, I waited for a really good entry, so I had a nice risk to reward ratio. I didn't feel worried about losing a lot of money in that trade. So overall, it went really well, and it's a nice way to end the week. So I waited about an hour and a half for my first trade today. Didn't really get the best entry, and I wanted to keep my stops really tight because I don't really like the price action. I don't want to really let it run too much in the wrong direction. But I got stopped out for a few points, down $250 on the day. we'll see if I find another entry or not. So I just exited my second trade of the day. I was waiting for the VIX to break out to the upside. Thought I had that, and so I went ahead and went short on a pullback. After making new lows, price reversed pretty quickly, got bought up really fast. So it shook me out, and I got stopped out for a loss, down 564.80 on the day. So we'll probably call it a day here unless I see a really good setup where I can have a really tight risk. So no more trades for me on the day. Bit of a setback. I'm now about halfway through. Instead of at $2,000, I need to make about another 1,500 more to pass step one. I couldn't really get a good read on the market today. It was a little lighter volume. It's a week before Christmas, so that probably plays into it. So while I wanted to play short, I never really felt confident in any of the potential entries. So on to tomorrow. Okay, so trade one of day 6 is done. We broke below VWAP. I sold short, and then some buyers started hitting the tape. I got a little nervous, so I cut the trade short and took about $400 profit for my first trade. So off to a good start. So for my second trade, when we were under VWAP, I sold short on a reject of that. And then exited just in time because the market turned around and started rallying. That put me up $700 on the day. Now here we are at the end of the day. I was kind of disappointed because it seemed like I kept missing the bigger move. There was action on both sides, and I never really caught a decent piece of the move. I was always kind of scalping smaller moves, so it's a little bit frustrating. I entered 2 more trades here at the end of the day, and one I got stopped out on for a loss of $175, and I re-entered pretty much right afterwards and took a really small profit. So I end the day up $600, but $577.80 after fees and commissions. So not a bad day. Again, number one on my thing to improve is don't hesitate and get in the trade when the opportunity presents itself. All right, so today the market rallied a little bit, but I missed that move, and then I took a few trades to the short side, kind of counter trend trading, which usually not my favorite thing to do, and none of the trades worked out for me. It was pretty choppy action after that move upward, and I sat around waiting all day for a good setup. It never really happened, so I would say a few of these trades were kind of forced, and I'm going to close the day out down about $400. So another little setback, but as long as I don't trade that kind of crappy action again, I should be all right. All right, day whatever. Didn't really go well. First trade was I took it open. I bought the bottom of the range, looking for a quick little pop. Not really a good trade considering we just had rejected the top of the range, and so I took a small loss there for $150. And then moving on to the next trade, this was part of my plan. I wanted to short a break of the 60 range, which I did. Unfortunately, I got tagged out with my stop. My stop hit, and it reversed and continued going, the way I intended. And then my third trade, I sold short again around the 38.60 level, and I will say I improved on one thing. I didn't hesitate to enter, so I was happy about that, but I made one key mistake, and that was moving my stop loss. Because at this point, I was down $550 on the day. Where my stop loss was, if it got tagged and stopped me out, I would be down like $850 on the day, so that was kind of hard for me to think about. So once the trade started moving my way, put my stop loss just around break even, and that was my key mistake because it again wicked me out, really broke down like I was hoping for, and would have been a huge trade for me since my targets were pretty far away. I had like a 16 point and 20 point targets, so that would have pretty much ended step one had I stayed in the trade and not moved my stop loss. So that's the big lesson, and now we're heading into Christmas, so I don't think I'll trade tomorrow, and I don't know, we'll see how next week goes. Maybe I'll wait until January to start trading again, but at the end of the day, down $900, which is kind of a big hit to my confidence and the challenge itself. So. All right, it's December 23rd. I decided to take a couple of trades today. I kept risk pretty tight, and I just traded one contract each time. And got stopped out around break even on one, and then the other one I got stopped out on for a loss. And so I'm down $132 on the day, and we'll see what happens next week. So after 9 trading days, my account is at $50,679, about $2,300 shy of what I need to pass step 1 of the combine. There were a few great setups earlier in the first week where if I executed correctly, it could have easily sent me on to step 2, but alas, there's still some things I need to work on, but that's all right. I think looking back at my past futures trading videos, you can see that my trading has improved drastically. Now, since this video is running long, I'm gonna split this challenge into 2 videos, and I'll be back with part 2 and hopefully a funded account, but we'll have to see how that goes. If you wanna try and become a funded trader with TopStep, I'll put the link for that down in the description and you can save 20% off the combine. Thanks so much for watching. Happy New Year.